Good morning, everybody. Hello. It's Thursday, March 17th, 2022, and my name is Jennifer Cotton. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Midlothian, Texas, and that means I teach people how to make greeting cards, scrapbook pages, gift packaging, and more with stamps, ink, paper, and lots of cool tools. So, if you are watching me for the first time, welcome and thank you. If you're coming back, thank you. I am streaming live on YouTube and Facebook today for the first time. So this is new to me. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you to Becky and Deanna for this pin they gave me a couple of years ago. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Anyway, I'm streaming to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So we will see how this goes. But you can comment on both videos and that will get you entered to win the cards I'm going to make today. And if you see any issues, let me know. I don't know if I will be able to fix them at that moment, but we can at least note them and see what we can do in the future. So hey, Susan, you were the first one I saw commenting this morning. Hello, good morning. Thank you for being here on YouTube. Carol, thank you for sharing. And Carol, I actually have your card here pulled up to show everybody this awesome card Carol Schaefer sent me in the mail. And it says, thanks for the card she won and for sharing my lives. She's been a demo almost 20 years, but have learned so much from my lives. So I really appreciate that and everything else you wrote in there. Thank you, Carol. And let me see who else. So I'm going to try. If I look on my computer on my right, I see Facebook and YouTube comments. Left, I just see YouTube. Left, I just see Facebook. Sorry. Okay, so I just saw someone said we can't see anything on YouTube. I'm going to go to my YouTube channel and see. It's giving me a commercial, so I'm going to skip that. Skip ads. Okay, so I can see it on YouTube. I don't know why you cannot, Susan. I'm so sorry. Maybe skip the ads. And also we'll see how it replays on YouTube. Unfortunately, this is a brand new service I'm using, so I will have to research later if there's problems. Okay, also, hello, Pam and Candy. Good morning. Thank you guys for sharing. Thanks, Pam. Wendy, good morning. Pat Chat, good morning. Hey, Cindy, thanks for sharing. Hey, Pat, and thank you for sharing as well. Alice in Indiana, good morning. Hey, Ramona. Hey, Alice. Oh, sorry, Alice shared. That was the second one from Alice. And let's see. Bernay, is that how you say your name? In Colorado, good morning, and thank you for being here. Mary Ellen in Montana. Carol, thank you so much. Yes, of course, you're welcome for sharing the card. I had it planned, and I have one other card to show today. Ramona, I think Ramona's saying she can see it on YouTube. Awesome. Yay, YouTube. Jean in North Dakota, good morning. I am getting myself confused as to whether I'm repeating names here because this screen looks different. Betty, hey, good to see you again, Betty. And Charlotte, ooh, you're in, where did that say? Freeport Beach in Galveston. Awesome, Charlotte. Spring break. It is spring break. Happy spring break, everybody. At least in Texas, it's spring break this week. I'm not on break. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Jen. Hey, Debbie. I'm scrolling. Rhonda. Awesome, Bernay. Sue. Yay, you are welcome. I've been wanting to do the streaming to both platforms for a while, but I just didn't have time to really research the software and see how it was going to work. So hopefully we'll be good. And I'm most concerned about the interacting part. Am I going to do that correctly? But it looks like I can see your comments all here from Facebook and YouTube on StreamYard, which is a really cool service. So Sandy, Sandra, Shirley, thank you for sharing. Yay, Cindy can see it on YouTube. Betty says spring break is next week in Oregon. And Jean prefers Facebook, but YouTube is working. Awesome. Yes, that's why I want to do both, not just one or the other, because everybody has their favorites for different reasons. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Okay, so that took a little longer than normal, but I will start. Thank you, Terry. I will start giving you more information. So again, my name is Jennifer Cotton. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator 20 years. I do this as a full-time job. So as you guys come on and you're commenting on the video, that's going to get you entered to win the cards I'm making today. I'm making 3 cards using 2 bundles. They are Seascape and Waves of Inspiration. Yay. And so I'll talk about those when we start the demonstration. And you can have a chance to win those by just commenting on the video on both platforms, even on replay. So if you're watching this recording on YouTube or Facebook, make a comment and you'll still get entered. And if you share the video, that enters you a second time, but make sure you comment that you shared on either platform because they keep that private. Okay. So I offer lots of events because I do this as a full-time job. And I do have an issue with my phone here. I don't think you guys can hear it, but it's playing the video ever so low on volume, and I've got to figure that out, but that's a whole nother issue I'm having. So I do events every month that anyone can attend in the US or I started to say Canada. I don't even know why. In the US, I meant to say in person to go. Everything's offered to go. And then some is offered in person. Okay. So all of my classes you see across the top include your PDF tutorial. Everything's going to be cut, die cut, punched, embossed that we possibly can. You do cut your own designer paper if that's included with your fee or a kit. And then you stamp and assemble at home with your own stamps and ink pads. There's a PDF tutorial and sometimes a video, but that's on special events. So the monthly classes for this month are this weekend. Landa and Karen are finishing the cutting and packaging today. Yay, Landa and Karen. And they will, anyway, so we're in prep mode, in other words. So we literally, I believe, have one of each class available. So there's one card class packet left, one scrapbook class. Those are $15 free with a $20 order. I showed the cards on last week's live with the ladybugs. I have one packet left. And then they're super cute. And then Sampler and Stamp-A-Stack are each, Sampler's $28, Stamp-A-Stack is $30. They both include $20 or more in merchandise. And they are, Sampler is Friends of the Forest and Stamp-A-Stack is Artfully Layered Bundle. I've shown sneak peeks of all of them before, but I don't have those sneak peeks here today because they're still with Karen and Landa being cut. So you can contact me if you want to take any of those 4 classes that are available, one of each, and grab those class packets. Let me check these comments here. Whose name did I see? Joni. Hello, Joni and Jennifer. I'm glad, Betty. I'm glad you like those choices I made for today. Okay, thanks, Sandy, that the sound is good because there is, and it's throwing me off. That's why I keep pausing while I'm talking because I can hear myself extremely low and it's coming from my phone. So again, I've got to figure out how to fix that because I'm using my phone as the second camera to film the stamping. Anyway, so I will deal with that with Google. Dawn in West Michigan, thank you for sharing. Hey, Margie. Hey, Terry. Jean, I have a tiny bit of green, but my hair is too long. This is all I have. I don't really have any green clothes, I don't think. And I always wear my pink Stamp Therapist shirt on Facebook Lives. So I know. But happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. We're not even making green cards today. they're blue, like Coastal Cabana. So maybe. Hey, Robin, haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Tammy. I've silenced my phone. I've turned the volume all the way down, and it's muted within this app, Rhonda. So, and I did all that before I went live. And the issue is, even when I tested it, it was doing this, but I didn't have time to figure it out. And when I tested it, there wasn't an echo in those groups. So anyway, I don't know. I got to Google it. Yeah, volume's turned down. It's the little red button is on, and within the app, it's turned down and muted. So yeah, I've got to Google about this service I'm using, basically. Okay, so let me know if you want to take this month's classes. Last chance. They are offered to go in person on Saturday. You need to register by today for that, or you can also register by today to check out those supplies from me and take them to your house. And then, so today I'm using the Waves of Inspiration as one of the stamp sets in my demonstration. And that's also what we're using in our Awesome Otters class that you can still register for through Sunday. This class, I believe I have the info for it on this slide. Yeah, so I'll put that up real quick. You're going to make 10 different cards designed by, actually, I think I can. Okay, I can be on the screen and talk and show that at the same time. I'm getting used to this new system. So 10 different cards that you're going to make with the Awesome Otter stamp, which is included in your class for free. That's a bonus extra free gift. You will need your Waves of Inspiration to stamp and complete. 10 projects, $28 in merchandise, PDF tutorial, and video instruction by Alejandra and me. She did half the cards. I did the other half. And the video will be on Facebook Live in a private Facebook group that you'll be able to access as long as Facebook lets us access that stuff. I know some of these cards are upside down, but this is just a sneak peek, not the whole class for you. So it's a great class. You should sign up for it. And let me see now. There we go. Do that by Sunday. And then coming soon, Alejandra and I are also doing a class on April 30th. We're going to have our registration. Well, I'm going to have my registration deadline by April 13th with the Friendly Hello stamp set and designer paper. Those will be free with the class fee, but all those details will come out by the 1st of April. Okay. In-person retreats, you can still register for those. I like Jean's little 4-leaf clovers that she put on the comments. Super cute. You can still register for the in-person retreats. Your deadline, or I'm not talking about deadlines, but the next one is May. So register for that one as soon as possible. It's May 12th through 15th in Temple, Texas. And you'll have your own table, you'll have a bed, you'll have meals, you'll have fun with other crafters, at least 10 stamping projects from the new annual catalog, which we get to see next week. March 23rd, demonstrators get to see it first. If you want to see it and order from it April 1st, go ahead and join my team. It's only $99. I can give you more info. Anyone can join. And there will be a retreat in a box associated with that, but we have to see the new catalog first before we can advertise it. So May 13th, 12th through 15th, sign up for in-person retreat. All these links will be sent out in the 3 o'clock email today, by the way, which recaps this video. Cruise. So we officially sold out our 2023 cruise. Yay! And congratulations to everyone who got in on it. And thank you. Unless someone has to cancel, then we'll notify everybody that we have a spot open. We're full for the crafting portion. You can still take advantage of our group rate. Like one of our crafters is currently checking on a relative to see if they want to come with them, do the group rate, but don't craft because they're not crafter. I can't talk today, not a crafter. So you can do all that stuff. But I would sign up for 2024 now. It's January 28th through February 4th on Harmony of the Seas out of Galveston, Texas. I've never been on Harmony of the Seas, but you can bet I've Googled that ship now, and it looks really cool. It's very similar to Allure, but it's bigger. It used to be the largest cruise ship in the world. And just the pictures of the cabins I saw and stuff, I'm very excited for 2024 as well. So you can register for that now. Info will be in the video here and here, where depending on where you're watching, and it will be in the email. All right, Paper Pumpkin. So Stampin' Up! Has announced, of course, our next Paper Pumpkin, which is called Change is Beautiful. It is, let me do it. Well, yeah, we'll do it that way. It's coming, or you need to subscribe for it by April 10th, and then you'll get it in April. So it is about all of those changes in life. They have a little video about it where it shows like a little girl from childhood to graduating from college. It's going to create 9 stunning cards with a unique folding technique to commemorate moments of change. The designs are inspired by the natural cycles of change found in nature. It's going to include a melon mambo ink spot. So these boxes, it's called Paper Pumpkin, but it's a craft box. It comes in the mail, and it has an ink, so that'll be melon mambo. It has instructions, and then it has a stamp set that you cannot purchase anywhere else, and it has all the supplies to make whatever the projects are. And in this case, those projects are 9 cards with 9 coordinating printed envelopes. So I think it sounds pretty cool. If you would like that kit, I'll put this over here. You can get it 2 ways. You can go to my online store and you can purchase it for a one-time purchase. So this is where you find it. You go to shop products, and you under other products, you see kits - Paper Pumpkin. And by the way, I had a cuter font on here. I don't know why it changed, but I noticed that this morning and it was too late to fix it. But that's where you find them, and it's called prepaid, which means you don't have to subscribe. Either way, though, you need to do that by April 10th to get that kit. But if you want to subscribe, you'll save a little money because shipping is included in the subscription. You just pay tax. It's $23.50. You can cancel at any time, but if you don't cancel, you just keep getting that awesome surprise box every month. So $23.50. And this one, by the way, comes with some iridescent sea glass, they're telling us. Of course, the printed cards and envelopes, die cut shapes, and Stampin' Dimensionals. You always get your adhesive as well. Okay. Specials. I think I'm ready to point the camera down. But let me check. I'm going to look. Yeah, I think I'm ready. So I'm going to look at this table for now. And we have specials coming up, or specials going on, I should say. So there are, as you should know by now, many items that are 20% off. Now, I did say this incorrectly because I didn't read fully in the past, so I'm going to say it correctly today. These bundles that are on sale are 20% off total, instead of just being 10% off. So it's a great deal. Stock up on these now. I'm actually going to show you these bundles real quick. And then our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is 20% off. It is only $48 instead of $60. So you can get that while supplies last or through March 31st. The All Squared Away bundle is the only one I don't own out of these sale items. So that is $40 for the stamp set and the dies. And then these bundles here, I'm going to show you real quick, just in case you're like, I forgot what those are. So we have Art Gallery. gorgeous. We did a retreat over this suite of products. It's gorgeous. Love it. So, and these dies, there's a big die that says just want to say. I always love word dies. You can see I've used this a lot. So that's the first one, Beauty of Friendship. So these dies are actually with Karen because we're using them on my sampler this month. We're cutting some trees for you guys. Of course, she's pre-cutting it. If you want that sampler packet, let me know. I haven't been able to keep up with comments as good, so if anyone commented, text me or Facebook message me if you want any of those classes. And I'm just looking over here on comments. Can you show the otter cards again? It was so small. I'll do it real quick, Jean, but it is meant to be only a sneak peek, not for you to see it all, simply because otherwise you don't need to take the class, right? So they're super cute, trust me. If we have Alejandra involved, we have cute cards. So hopefully that helps, Jean. And anyway, Beauty Friendship, gorgeous set, 20% off. Celebrate Sunflowers. I'm actually using this one next week on one of my cards. I already designed next week's Facebook Live, which is going to be on Tuesday. So I will, and YouTube Live, I will let you guys know. Hey, Jill, I'm glad you're watching on YouTube in Northeast Ohio. I mean, I'll, make my posts and emails that I'm going live on Tuesday. But anyway, I'm using Celebrate Sunflowers. A lot of people have been using this stamp set anyway because of the Ukraine situation. This is their flower. So it's great for that. Plus, it's just a gorgeous set that we all love. So that bundle is 20% off. Garden Wishes. Love it. So pretty. I did card class with that a while back. Hydrangea Haven. Of course, love this one. This one is, I've used it so much. So pretty. 20% off. Pansy Patch. I'm using this one next week as well for a couple of cards. And I have like another thing, I guess I'm combining with all those cards. But anyway, Quiet Meadow. I haven't used this one as much, especially the stamps, even though it has great splatter and background images and flowers and gradings, of course. But I've used the dies a lot because of these flowers. They totally stand alone. So that's a great one. There's a label die in there. Y'all know we love those. Seascape is the one I'm using today. So Seascape Bundle is 20% off. I think you're going to want it after you see these cards if you don't have it already. And then Sweet as a Peach. Of course, everybody loves Sweet as a Peach. You have to have that. Welcoming Window. Love it. I've used, they picked some really popular bundles, in my opinion, to put on sale. I've used most of these in events already in the past. What's Cooking? Of course, this is an amazing bundle. In addition to how awesome the stamps look, because they're going to stamp exactly like that. But these dies for your kitchen utensils. So good. And last but not least, Wildcats. Love it. We did a sampler on this right when the new catalog came out. It's so cute. There's designer paper. There's designer paper that matches a bunch of these, actually. But anyway, so there you go. Those are the bundles that are on sale while supplies last. I did check the inventory status report this morning, and at that time, they were all still available. So hopefully that will continue. Don't forget about the All Together products. So I believe 3 sets of the blends are currently not orderable, but they are coming back. They will be in our new catalog that is going to be released and that demonstrators get to see March 23rd. Just bragging there a little bit. But everything else is while supplies last. So the stamp set, Here Together, the Here For You dies, and the All Together designer paper are while supplies last. So that's all in the online store. So you can get that now. And then I'm going to use the Waves, Waves of the Ocean products today. So I have them under here. I'll be using the bundle on these cards because I love it and it matches with that Seascape really well. And I'll use the Waves of the Ocean designer paper, blue foils, and rhinestone basic waves. So this stamp set and bundle, I should say, is going to be in our new catalog. So you can get that for a long time. all three of the accessories are while supplies last. So you want to get those now, which, by the way, in our otter class, you're going to get, I believe, a half a pack of this designer paper and foil and a full pack of rhinestones. So, hey, worth it right there. Worth the price of admission, as they say. Actually, I'll just show these when I start stamping, but there's my Waves products. I'll save those for when I start stamping. I did have a couple other things I wanted to show off, like show and tell. I showed this at the beginning, but I intended to show it now. This is a lovely card I got in the mail from Carol Schaefer. So adorable, pretty, etc. And such a nice note inside. So thank you, Carol. And then I got a birthday card in the mail. Oh, I think it's not a shaker. I thought it was, but it's this is from Chris. It's heat embossed on top of this window sheet and then stamped under, like, it's really fancy. So thank you, Chris. And then I want to remind you that these are the retiring in colors. I found these cards that happened to be with the sunflower that we made, I think, for a team meeting right when the new catalog came out. Aren't they gorgeous cards, by the way? A simple, easy way to use the sunflower set with any of your, with any color, I should say. But I was going to say also you could convert this design with lots of other stamps. And then let me just show real quick to remind you, it's Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. Misty Moonlight. They're going to be while supplies last starting April 1st. So if you don't have them, I recommend you purchase them before April 1st when they go while supplies last. A lot of these ink pads and ink refills are low inventory right now. And I don't really know for sure how urgent that makes it because I don't know if they have more coming in. But anyway, they are currently listed as low inventory. And I'm looking real quick to see if card stock is. No, the card stock is not listed right now as low. But once everything goes while supplies last, which is April 1st when our retiring list comes out, that'll be it. Like that'll, if it sells out, you won't be able to get any more. So there you go. Retiring in colors. Jean, I'm glad that helped to show them close up. So we are using on these, the class is what she's asking about. We are using Waves of Inspiration and the Otters, but you're going to get the Otters free. See how I have the Wave stamp there and the Otter stamp Waves. So yes, for sure you will. Well, you can substitute, but I would say you would want this set if you take that class. And any other questions, just let me know. Okay. Before I get started stamping, let me check my notes, but I want to remind you that I have an online ordering special. I'm just reading my notes to make sure I didn't forget anything. So you will get a class packet to make all 4 of these cards mailed to you at no cost. If you place an online order of $25 or more with the monthly host code, which I just remembered to add to the screen, and it is, we have a new code now because the month is halfway over. Anyway, it's right there. If you place your online order of 25 or more with that host code, you're going to get a kit mailed to you next month to make all 4 of these cards using flowering rain boots. If that order is $25 or more, $50 or more, you also get a free full pack of Bumblebee trinkets, which who doesn't want more of those? Ugh, they're so good. I've been using them a lot lately and having to order more and order more. So Bumblebee trinkets free with 50 plus the class kit. It's 1 class kit per person per month. If you have any questions on that, let me know. If your order is over 150, don't use the host code. I will still give you both gifts, but you will also get at least $15 in free merchandise of your choice from Stampin' Up. So that's the online ordering special. Today, I'm making 3 cards using the Seascape Bundle, which is 20% off, and the Waves of Inspiration Bundle. These are, I'm going to move these cards away. they go great together, of course. And we have lots of nautical themed stamps in our annual catalog that you can combine with Waves of Inspiration. Now, which ones are going to carry over into the new catalog? I don't know. We'll see that list next week. But it's available now and it matches really well. This was my first time using it. I had to assemble the set, and it was my first time using these dies. So, of course, you'll get my tips now. And just a quick reminder to have a chance to win these 3 cards. You can comment on the video today on YouTube or Facebook Live or in the recording. And if you share the video, that gets you entered again. And by the way, all those helps me. So thank you. Thank you very much for sharing videos and doing all that stuff. Commenting, even clicking a like or a thumbs up. All of it helps me. So I appreciate it. But if you share it, I won't know unless you comment that you shared. And then that'll get you entered again. Okay. And thank you, Kathy. Good morning. Kathy has to watch replay. No problem. Hey, Julie. Good morning. Rhonda says, I love the surfing otter. I know that was one of those ideas that came into my head, and I texted Alejandra immediately to claim it. I was like, I'm going to make a surfing otter. Do not do that. I don't know if she had thought of that too or not, but I did it. Okay, so here's the Waves of the Ocean designer paper. Everybody needs this paper. It doesn't even have to be nautical. If you take it out and just put it with some other random stamp, nobody will know it's nautical. They'll just think it's an awesome sort of alcohol ink looking background. But it can look nautical and oceany and whatever you want to call it if you choose to. I just love it so much. So it's 12 by 12. It's while supplies last. You get half a pack of it with my class, by the way. But you can also just purchase it for $11.50, and it's so pretty. Get it? So I'm just showing you what I have left here. You can see I've used mine a lot. We used it in our team meeting this month. So this is pretty much all of the designs, but I've used it a lot and combined packs together. So, but one thing I'll say about this paper is when you're copying samples, like maybe online or like you see a sample online, it's kind of difficult for me anyway, I should say, to figure out which paper they used, which means you could just substitute. But I was worried I wouldn't be able to tell for this video. So I had to actually lay a full sheet or whatever I had left of each designer paper with the card I'm making, so I would know which one. So this is the one I'm using for this card. I'll give more details in a second. Which, see, it's hard to tell if you only see this side. But see how it's orange on the back? So it's darker at the top. See what I mean? This is, I don't know if I have a full sheet. I'll look. Anyway, okay, so let me pull my card pieces here. We have... And I am going to demonstrate die cutting these intricate dies, but just on one thing, and I'll just wait till I get to that card. Okay, so I think these are all the pieces for this card. This one is, yeah, there's a scrap where I cut this from. It goes somewhere over here. Anyway, this card, first of all, the card base is 8.5 by 11 cut in half. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to fold it in half with a bone folder. And then set that aside. It's going to be a landscape card. It's basic white cardstock, the best white cardstock on the market. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Julie. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Ramona, as well. And I hope you guys are enjoying me over on YouTube, by the way. If anyone new happens to catch me, thank you for watching. Okay, so the next layers. Well, I'm going to see real quick if I have a full sheet of that paper just to show you. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so this is what the full sheet looks like. The back is just the more coral. Is that Calypso coral? Yeah, Calypso coral. Again, you can't really tell it's nautical unless you think about it that way. It's just like white and light coral and dark coral alcohol ink. But this other side can appear as water, like the ocean, or again, just a background, depending on how you design it. But this top section is really dark with navy and Pacific Point, and then it gets lighter as it goes down with the Coastal Cabana and the lighter Pacific Point and some white mixed in. It's so pretty. It makes you want to be at the ocean. So I cut a piece off of the top that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 to go on the front of this card. So that's where the designer paper came from. Put that away now. These are just my leftover scraps. And then the next layer is Coastal Cabana. And I did do some mixing of colors that I wouldn't normally do. So this coastal is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And then there's a sheet of basic white we're going to stamp on, which is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. I've pre-die cut a white label from, so let's look at the Waves dies now. They're called Waves. You can purchase them individually if you don't want the bundle for some reason. It has these 2 waves, which I've pre-die cut just to save time. And they're meant to be layered on top of each other, and I'm sure you can use them alone as well. There's a die that cuts out the pelican that's on the 2, I don't know what those wood things are called, that like on a pier. There are 2, oh, I forgot to pull the one out. Landa gave it back to me. Where is it? I can't remember. Anyway, it's here, but I forgot to pull it out of the box. Oh, it's in my living room. If I need it, I'll have to run to the living room. Anyway, there's the white label I've pre-die cut and this white label that's pretty much the same, but smaller. There's 2 clouds, some like ocean wave images that you can die cut, and birds. Okay, so there's all the dies. It's pretty awesome. Let me see how y'all are doing over here. Hey, Brenda, I thought I saw Jackie. Hey, Brenda and Janet. Late, no problem. Okay, so let's do the stamping portion. Oh, and by the way, I cut the waves out of the blue foils. You can tell I like this blue foils. It's while supplies last. So it comes with Coastal Cabana, and I believe they call it Night of Navy. It's a really bright, like dark but bright blue foil. And silver, a true silver foil. So you get all 3 of those in the pack when you purchase this blue foils that are while supplies last, which is sad, but they are. So there's that. And then I'm also going to use the Waves Rhinestone Jewels, which are gorgeous and while supplies last. Okay, now let me stamp. So I'm going to use the giant wave stamp. You can use your Stamparatus with this, of course, but I'm usually too lazy. Plus, I'm using this on 2 different cards, and I'm doing it this way. So the way I stamp our large stamps is I lay them upside down on the table, and then I take my ink pad. So in this case, I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. I'm also using Pacific Point on this card. So Coastal Cabana. And I turn the ink pad upside down and tap it all over. So I'm still, I always say, don't ink hard. I'm not pressing crazy hard here to get ink on these edges. But I am tapping multiple times and kind of turning my stamp pad around different directions, etc. And then I'm going to place the paper on top of it, and I'm going to have a piece of scratch paper right here available to use to finish the stamping. So I want the wave, the bulk of it, like the big part that's coming up on this paper. So doing it upside down does 2 things. It allows me to see my placement. So I'm not touching the stamp yet, by the way. I'm just aligning it, hovering above. Because once you touch it, if you move it, you're going to have a messed up image. And I put the scratch paper on top so my fingers don't get ink all over them. And I rub, but I'm not going to press so hard that on this top section, I bend the paper down, which could get ink on the edges. But with any large background stamps, this is how I would ink them to get that even pressure. And then I just pick up the stamp and voila, gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and clean this because I will be using it for another card in a different color. Take this excess off on my scratch paper. So I have my Simply Chamois. It is wet. I just rinsed it out this morning because it was drying out a little bit, which is perfectly normal and fine. And I squeezed out, you know, just rinsed it in the sink and squeezed it until it was running. The water was running clear. And then I store mine in these stamp cases, which we carry separately. And it's not airtight, which is good because then it can dry out if you're not using it instead of getting moldy when you're not using it. And so you can just clean your stamps on those. And I'm going to use this scratch paper again for a nice background on like a whatever. It's almost like a sky, and it's like water splatters. So I'm getting this image from Seascape. Look at this gorgeous, like I call these splatter. It's like a splatter image in Seascape. I think this is probably meant to be sand, but we can use it for whatever we want. And so let me grab that stamp. And I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, but I'm going to stamp it off onto the scratch paper first. So I'm just inking, tap, 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 not too hard. Stamp it on scratch paper and then stamp it a bunch of times and then repeat. I'm actually going to stamp it off twice. That was pretty dark. And I'm basically just filling in the whole area around the wave with this. So I liked how it looked. To me, it looks like the water splashing up. It kind of also looks like sky, and it just filled in that stark white. So great stamp there. And let me clean it too, because I think I'm using it on another card in a different color as well, if I remember correctly. Okay. Then in Pacific Point, we need some birds on here. So there is this little bird stamp that comes with, it's like a seagull, I guess, but it's just like if you took a pen and drew the top of a heart. That's what the image is. Very small. And for this, I mean, this is just a side tip on this stamp set. It's red rubber. Waves of Inspiration is red rubber. I have personally trimmed excess red rubber off from around several of my stamps in this set because I was getting ink on the edges when I stamped them, even though I ink very lightly. This bird has a lot of excess rubber around it, or at least mine did. And I'll just quickly show you how I do that. Now I use some other old scissors that I have that have a shorter handle, a shorter blade. But as long as your scissors are short and they will cut, are sharp, and they will cut the rubber, you should be good. But I leave the stamp mounted on my clear block, and I cut at an angle. I don't know how to show this like that. I don't know if that's showing it right, but where I'm trying to only cut off the red rubber and not the foam below. You want to leave as much foam as you can to keep your stamp stable and from falling apart. So just to give y'all a close-up, that's how I trimmed mine, and it has helped a lot in the shadow image, bubble image, whatever you want to call it, that you get around the edges. Okay, so I'm going to ink it up gently. Try not to get any ink on those edges. And I'm going to add a bird up here on the top left above that wave, and then just keep stamping it 2 more times. So 3 total. So it gets lighter and lighter. And then I'm going to add 2 more over here on the right side the same way. So ink it once, stamp it twice. And then my greeting is Pacific Point. Now, if I mess this up horribly, I'm going to have to run and get that die out of the living room. So this is one of the stamps from Waves of Inspiration called, or it says, "Your strength is an inspiration." So great. Like you can use that for so many purposes. And I'm just going to stamp it. Now, of course, at home, you could stamp first and then die cut it out, and you could align that perfectly and not worry about stamping straight if you were using your own stuff. Because if we pre-die cut it for you for a class, that's another story. But anyway, but I did pretty good. So there we go. Okay. We're just about ready to assemble. I am using some Whisper White crinkled seam binding, which is this awesome white ribbon we have that's already wrinkled, so you don't have to worry if it gets wrinkled on your card, right? But then I'm going to color it Night of Navy. So I have my dark navy Stampin' Blend. I'm going to use the brush tip end. I have definitely scratch paper here. This can go through to your table, so make sure you protect your table really well when you do this. And you lay the blend almost flat and use the side of it to color your ribbon. So Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based markers, which means they dry really fast. So they're a great choice to color embellishments and ribbon. They can color like metal, glass, plastic. So basically your embellishments, you can color like clear rhinestones, pretty much anything that's a light color you can color with the blends. But they work really well for ribbon. You can dye ribbon, then you have to let it dry and all that stuff. This dries almost instantly, although I did have a little bit of a blue finger after I made my sample the other day. If you touch it immediately, yes, it's going to come off on your finger and possibly your project. So just give it a few seconds to dry. But I love that with the white crinkled seam binding. It's a great ribbon to have. And the blend removes the static from that ribbon. It makes it so much easier to work with. Okay, so now we're going to attach my adhesive might run out on this video. I see the red right there, which means it's getting to the end. We're going to attach this large stamped white piece to the Coastal Cabana. By the way, on my blog after the video, I post still pictures of these cards, as well as measurements, a recipe card, which I'll show you later, and a list of supplies. So there's 2 lists of supplies, basically. So I provide all that on the blog, stamптherapist.com. You can see that address right there. Oh, Terry's on an airplane. Was your trip that long, or was this a different trip? I saw Terry at bingo, but she was not at home at that time. Let's see. Sue, thank you for sharing. Oh, yes. Sue says it's a nice day in Ohio. It's a nice day here, too. I meant to comment on that. It does definitely feel like spring is coming. Like, oh, Beverly, good. Anyway, it's going to be up to 80 today. Actually, that's worse. That's like past spring. But then it'll be a little cool tomorrow, like it's Texas. So, but anyway, it's definitely feeling more like spring here. Beverly said, I love this set when I see it used, but I think I would let it intimidate me and never use it. I definitely don't think it's intimidating. And one way to overcome that, and of course, if that's your thing, that's fine. But just a tip is to start copying other people's samples. And then the more you do that, you get comfortable using whatever it is. Just my opinion. But okay, so I got out my silicone craft sheet for these waves. I could have cut them with adhesive sheets on them, but honestly, I didn't want to mess with it because they're so large and intricate and blah, blah, blah. You could use liquid glue. Of course, I don't like liquid glue. Or you can use whatever other method you have, but this is what I like. So I love our silicone craft sheets, like $6. I own like 20 of them. And I take our adhesive. I'm using Stampin' Seal. Which colors? I'm going to put the larger wave I don't really know if there's a correct way to do this, but I'm putting the one that's just a slightly larger and it's squared at the one corner on the left, so it'll fit on the corner of the paper. I'm putting that at the back, and then the smaller, it's just a, it's not smaller, but you see what I mean? I don't know how to say that, but we'll just call it smaller, in front. And the back one is cut in the Coastal Cabana foil, and the front one is I think they call it navy foil. It's almost more Pacific to me, but like a dark Pacific. Anyway, so I'm going to add adhesive to the larger one first, the Coastal Cabana. So I just put small pieces of our adhesive on like only select sections of the paper. I'm not trying to cover the whole thing. It doesn't need that. And you don't want to drag tape runners all the way across a piece like this, because you'll have all those spider webs which can pop around and stick to the front of your foil. So I definitely got the two corners and a little bit there on the edge. Then I'll go to the top here. And I did learn with these from something else, probably when I was making the otter samples, that definitely put it on these little tips of the wave that are going to be flopping around here at the edge. Then on the bottom, I'm going to get, again, just some select sections. This piece, if I'm turn this over, this piece to the right that's going to be at the bottom right hand edge, I do want to make sure, because that's going to partly get cut off. I'm just going to make sure I get the section that I think is going to be at the edge of the paper here, if that makes sense. So you could do this whole thing just to be safe. Hopefully I'm making sense. Okay, then I'll stick this to the white portion, the white stamped cardstock. Right there, it fits in the corner, super simple. See how it's hanging off the edge? Actually, I think I was supposed to put this only on the white first, but it'll be fine. Okay, I was, but it's fine. Now, the navy, same thing. Just going to add my adhesive. In the same way, same places. Just having trouble turning this over. Maybe a little right there. You can, again, whatever you think is important as far as your amount and placement of adhesive goes is what you can do. So this one goes down in that corner right on top of the first one. And it just adds a lot of detail. It's really cool. Now, I should have glued this to the white first, trimmed it off, and then attached it to my Coastal Cabana. And I was afraid I was going to forget steps on these cards today, because they are kind of do it in this order. So I would tell you to turn it over and cut it off from the back. That's the easiest way and the most like accurate. But I'm going to have to do it from the front because I messed up. Fine. See, it's not as accurate when you do it from the front. Nobody's going to care that you give this card to, but still. There we go. Okay. I just trimmed it off with my scissors, by the way. Okay. Now we'll add our greeting. So I have that ribbon I colored. This ribbon got to dry way, way longer than necessary. So I'm going to wrap it around, remember this is a landscape card, the bottom of this piece, the Coastal Cabana piece. But before I tie it, I want to feed the ribbon through the greeting on the left side, because I want the bow on the right. But I'm not going to worry about where this greeting is placed yet until after I tie the bow. I just need it threaded through before I tie it, or else you have to untie it and re-thread it, right? So I'm just going to tie a bow on the right-hand side. So I want to use my reverse tweezers to hold the place where you tell someone to put their finger. So reverse tweezers, they're in my Amazon store, stamptherapist.com, Amazon links. And I flipped the project upside down to tie the bow. So because that kind of makes your bow be right side up, usually. Every once in a while I do this and the bow is not right side up, and I don't know what happens, but I just leave it that way because I don't want to mess with it again. But nine times out of 10 for me, it will be right side up. Okay, so make your bow pretty how you want. Trim the excess off and then scoot the bow as far to the right as you can. You can just pull the ribbon, basically. And then my greeting I want over to the right as well, but I do want to secure it down. So what I'm going to do is just flip it upside down and add some adhesive to it because I want it flat, and slide it over. I think I want to scoot this ribbon up some. So I'm adding the adhesive to the bow after. I mean, to the greeting after the fact instead of before. And now I'm just going to kind of scoot this greeting down and center. There's sort of a center section of the die cut image. You can see it right there, and press. Love it. Thank you, Pat. She says sound is awesome. I can still hear myself here. I'm ignoring it because it's extremely distracting. So I'm trying to completely block it out of my mind. But I know y'all can't hear it. It's just like one of those things that's going on in the background. So I'm going to attach this 4x5 1/4 designer paper to the front of the card base. And then I will add my stamped piece with Stampin' Dimensionals. I do have another sheet there, but I will just use these edges. I like to use the mini Stampin' Dimensionals. You can use whatever you want. And I'm going to cut these up. This is this is not the main reason, but one reason the minis are so good is because the edges are really wide. So it's like when you cut them up, you have these large pieces. But even if these were regular dimensionals, I would use this mini. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even if they were regular mini is what I meant to say. And then this card will be, oh no, it won't be done. We'll add rhinestones and then this card will be done. I do want to trim that ribbon down. As a reminder, you can have a chance to win these 3 cards I'm making today just by commenting on the video on YouTube or Facebook, even on replay. And we're getting caught up with our winners again. We just did some, I think yesterday. Oh, sorry. Let me add the rhinestones. So these rhinestones are called Rhinestone Waves. I think that's a weird name. I think it should be Waves Rhinestones, but I didn't get asked. And anyway, they're called Rhinestone Waves, Basic Jewels. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to add them. And I'm trying to remember if it, like what they list as the colors. But basically you get some, yeah, it says Coastal Cabana, Night of Navy, and Pacific Point. So you're getting a light and dark of each. Does it say? It doesn't even have a green listed, but that totally looks, this one looks like it could be a Granny Apple green for sure. That must be Coastal, Navy, and Pacific Point. Anyway, they're gorgeous. So you could use any that you want. Let me untie my bow. But I'm going to use these, I think the darkest ones. And I'll just add about 3 up here in the sky, we'll call it, where there are not birds, I should say. So just 3 of them there. Because who doesn't want to add rhinestones to their cards? So there it is. Yay. Hope y'all like it. Here's the one I originally made, which if you look super close at it, I don't know if you can even see it on the video. There's a piece of white glued on top here. So if you mess up your stamping, stamp your greeting again and glue it on top of the label. I don't even know if you can really see it there. And you could like dimensional it or something, but I just glued it flat. Okay, so there's the first one. Waves of Inspiration and Seascape. Let us see what our second card is going to look like. Oh yes, I love this one. So lots of pieces for this card. I have a Coastal Cabana card base, 5.5, 8.5. The next layer is basic black, 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have a piece of this Waves of the Ocean Designer paper. So again, when you cut this up, you can make completely different cards from the bottom and middle section than you do from the top. Let me show you the back side. It's just the gorgeous blue water. Like, again, makes you want to be on the beach right now, in my opinion. But this other side is, again, it can be a water image. It's whatever your brain tells you it is. But it's also just these blue cabana and calypso coral and white alcohol ink type of image. So I cut this piece from the top. It looks like it's from the right side, but I made one with the other side as well. And it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 to go on that black piece. This card is also landscape. So this is just a scrap that was left over from where I cut it. And then I'm going to die cut just to show you that it will work. But I have pre-die cut the fish and the seahorse from Sea Dies, SEAC Dies. Pre-stamp something there. I've pre-die cut the small label from the Waves dies in Coastal Cabana. And then I pre-die cut from the Sea Dies 2 of the, I think this is coral. Is it coral? I don't think it's seaweed. It's a ocean plant kind of image in Granny Apple Green. So let's look at those dies. And they are interesting, and I'm going to show you how they are, which is actually this part here while they're still attached. So you have this, what kind of fish is this? This gorgeous fish. I'm sure y'all know. This seahorse, which they're pretty large. The seahorse is almost 4 inches tall. The fish is like 3.5 by 3 3/4. Then there's the plant image, sea plant, whatever it is. And then there's an image that has, it's one die, I should say, that cuts out 2 fish. I can't even pull it off. I haven't used it yet. So you would get 2 fish out of the one die cutting. And it cuts little scales, like it puts a lot of detail in there, like the scales you see on the large fish that I cut out. Okay, so I'm going to grab my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. I think this piece is, maybe it's for the seahorse. I can't remember now. No, it's large enough for the fish. I'm going to grab my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, which is $48 until March 31st, or while supplies last. It's in my bag, so you hear zipping. You can cut this on the big machine as well, of course. But the dies that are on sale are going to fit in the mini machine. And the catalog just tells you which ones fit in which machine. The mini does the same power. Everything's the same. The only difference is the size of die that will fit in it, the width, if I can say that right. And the width of paper is important as well. Okay, so it comes with all the pieces you need to emboss and die cut. To die cut, we need a number 1 and 2 number 2s. I use one to cut on only and one only for the top. So it's nice and clear and see-through, which is actually important to your final project. We're going to put our fish on here with the blue foil facing up, die facing, blade of the die facing down. Make sure all your plates on both machines are even with each other when you put it in, and just start pushing and then turn. Also, you never want these dies super close to the edge that goes into the machine first. That can block it from going in. I'm just going to go back because this is an intricate die. And then it's all cut. Look at that gorgeous cutting. A tip on these is I like to turn the image over on the back after I die cut it and sort of, I don't know what the word is, but you push and just take these excess pieces out that way. Pushing it from the foil side to the back side. It's super easy. But it is still attached to this sheet. And it's meant to be that way, like you can put it on your project that way. I'm not creative enough, and I looked on Pinterest and I was like, nobody else did it either. I'm sure someone has done it. I didn't come across any. So I am going to trim them off of here. So I'll use the one, I pre-poked all the pieces out of these just to save time. So all I did, I am going to grab my readers. You can see what I'm doing. All I did was sort of bend so that I could see where these are attached. So I'd be interested if anyone has used these attached to their original piece. I'd be interested to see what your samples look like. Anyway, and just make little tiny snips. I'm getting as close as I can to where it's connected so I don't like mess up the image basically. I'm doing the seahorse first. To be careful you don't accidentally cut off part of the side images. But I found it's, you know, you can't really tell you did that once you snip it off. So who has used these? Oh, by the way, thank you, Pat. I didn't look at the comments. Cindy loves the ocean paper. Thank you, Cindy. Lorraine loves it. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. I was looking at Pat's emojis with the monkeys. Terry. Ooh, good day for a trip to the beach. That is right. It has a tighter center. What were we talking about, Rhonda? I don't remember now. Terry, just a week. Just a week. And thanks to the other Terry, Pam, I am live right now. You are watching live. You can ask a question or make a comment and I can reply if I see it. Okay, so I'm snipping the fish out. Same deal. I do like to do this from the front so I can just make sure, you know, whatever might happen. Oh, I was looking on the comments to see if anyone said if they had used these dies the way they're supposed to be used. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. What else am I doing on this card? The only stamping, this card is actually, besides the fact that you have to die cut, which to me is easy, but if you're a new crafter, you might not have a die cut machine. The only stamping is our greeting. And we're going to take it from Seascape, which has a really like just nice font. You know, it's not cutesy. It's not super fancy. It's just nice. And it's one of them says, thank you. It also has, I'm here for you, ... always. And the other one, which I'll use on the next card, says, just thought you should know how wonderful you are. And that's in 4 lines. So it's a more rectangle kind of image. Thank you is long, but you know, not too long. It's a smaller image. And I'm going to stamp that in Pacific Point. Whew, I need to get these cards away. I almost stuck the edge of this in that ink pad. Okay, so tap, 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 nice and gentle for the greeting. Don't want to get ink on those edges, you know, to come off on your project. And that says thank you. And now I can assemble this one. Let me go ahead and fold this card base in half. It's Coastal Cabana. I'm going to get that out of the way. Then I will attach my, I can't see, yes. Nope. It wouldn't matter, but I'm not going to attach my designer paper to the black yet because I'm going to tie a ribbon around it first. But before I do that, I'm going to build this scene on the front. So the paper, gorgeous, speaks for itself. The seahorse will go down first toward the left. Then there to the right of the seahorse and overlapping onto him is some of the plant, whatever it's called. Then the fish goes right on top of the plant. So the plant's like coming out from behind the fish. And then one more plant, which will go sort of in the middle of all of this as far as left to right. No, yes, left to right. But it's going to, it sort of has a straight edge here at the bottom. So I'm going to align it at the very bottom of this card. I think I'll scoot the seahorse over to the left a little bit, which is a good reason to lay out your cards before you start gluing everything down. I'll scoot the whole thing to the left a little bit as well. But that's pretty much the layout. I'm not using dimensionals on any of these. I will grab this silicone sheet and start putting it together. So I'm going to grab the seahorse out. I missed a piece of paper when I was punching those out from the die cutting. The seahorse has some, like a couple of large areas of paper on the back that aren't just the skinny little lines. So that's where I put my adhesive on, actually 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. Like I said before, you can use liquid glue or whatever you like. And the next layer is this. I'm trying to think of a word besides plant. I forgot what I said earlier. So this doesn't have holes in it like the fish, but it's still kind of skinny. So I'm using the silicone and just putting select, spots of adhesive on it. And that goes where I said. Then the fish. So the fish has some good areas. There's these scales that are just die cut for the look, but you can put adhesive where they are. And then of course up here at the face, there's lots of space. And I think it's nice to have no adhesive on the tail and fins so they can kind of curl up on your card. So again, the fish is going to cover the bottom portion of the plant life. I think plant life is the word I'm looking for. It's going to sort of go into the seahorse, and yeah. And then last but not least, this last piece of plant life. Let's see where I want it. Oh, my fish is lower than my other card. I'm going to move all this a little higher. I don't want to cover the face up. It's just going to be a little different than my original card, which is always fine. Isn't that cool? Woohoo! I love it. I love these dies. Wish I'd used them sooner. Now, we're going to do the greeting just like the other one, but we're using twine instead of ribbon. So, meaning I'm going to thread the ribbon or twine through the tag and tie a bow. This time the bow will be on the left, and I'm using black baker's twine. So I didn't know if I had quite enough left on this roll. So if I don't, I'll use this other roll. But this is that's not the linen thread. This is the Baker's Twine Essentials Pack, which comes with 5 different colors of baker's twine. So I'm doing the same thing I did on the last card. Thread, or wrap it around this designer paper. It's landscape. It's going to go across the bottom. Feed the tag through feed the ribbon through the tag, which this is twine. It's the black. Did I say that? It's the black version of the twine. And then make a bow. Twine is, I think, it probably doesn't even have to be upside down to tie a good bow because it's so thin. But I'll go ahead and do it upside down just in case. So again, the bow will be on the right. Tweezers. And tie a bow. And I'll do all my adjusting. But on this one, I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals behind the greeting instead of making it flat. To me, on the other card, I didn't want it raised up, mainly because of how the bow was. Like, I don't know. I just didn't want it competing with the bow. This one, it'll look good with dimensionals. Go ahead and trim this. Where? So yay, I did have enough twine on that one little roll there. So just adjust, figure out where you want the height of your twine to be. And then slide the greeting to the spot that you want it. And then, I don't know which one I used now. Did I use the greeting I made today or previous? I'm going to grab a couple of mini dimensionals, or in this case, the edges. And I'll just flip it upside down, flip the greeting upside down, add those dimensionals, and then put it back in place. Okay, now this can be attached to the black. Oh, we are going to put rhinestones on here. The black cardstock I told you. Oh, look, just ran out of adhesive. I gave you the measurements for these pieces at the beginning, is what I'm trying to say. Beginning of this card. Also, they'll be on the blog, though, so you can check that out. And they'll also be on the recipe card, which I'm going to tell you all about. That's a new thing I'm doing. Each card has its own recipe card on my blog. It'll go out today. So you can download and print that and use it however you like. Okay, so I refilled that. And I'm just going to attach this designer paper, as I mentioned before, to the black. This is a thin border, which also on the last card, it was a thin border. The white to Cabana was. So you just want to pay attention when you're attaching those thin borders that you get them as even as you can. And then that will just go on the front of the card flat. And that is the end of that. No, I keep saying that. That's the end of that card besides rhinestones. I love this card. Okay. Here they are. So I use the ones, and honestly, when I put these on yesterday, or whenever I made this, I was like, I'll use the Granny Apple Green ones, but it doesn't say they're Granny Apple Green. They totally look Granny Apple Green. So I'll use a couple. You get small, you get the most of the small, and then also though a medium and a large in each color. I'm just going to use the small one. So I'll put a 2 over there on the top right and 1 on the sort of left, more toward the bottom. And there it is. Ooh, ah. Thank you, Ramona. Pat, these dies are sitting in a pile of untouched products. I do love that for me, which I know Pat stamps all the time, like, because she's in my team and she's always sharing with the team and on her personal, but she stamps all the time, so she's good. But I like how for me doing the business makes me use some stuff that I haven't used. So thank you, Cindy. Carol says, love the colors. I know, right? Blue. And who would have, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought of those colors together before. Most likely I wouldn't have. Okay, the last card is my favorite. So I haven't noticed, I should say, Robin on here today. But this was inspired by a card that I got from Robin in a team swap. So we'll see if she jumps on and sees it. Okay, so let me start off with, this is the designer paper I'm using. I guess this piece, yeah, there's the piece I'm using, like literally this piece, but it's this design. So again, it's another one with the side we're using looks like the alcohol ink. It's got all the colors, the navy, the Coastal Cabana, and Pacific Point, as well as, I'm going to make sure that is Granny Apple Green in this paper, but it's got a green basically. Yep, Granny Apple Green. So depending on where you cut from, you'll get more green or more blue. The back side looks like this, so it's more of a very much heavier, more Coastal Cabana and white with a little bit of green. Love this paper. Okay, so this card base is a different size and shape. I'm over here like, where is my paper? Because it's clear. Anyway, this card base is 5.5 wide, like normal, 5.5. And then it's 5 1/4 tall, and it's scored at 4 1/4 inches, which is right there at the top. So basically what that means is I took a regular card base and cut off 3 1/4 inches from the front. Okay, 5.5, 8.5, cut off 3 1/4 inches from the top. You just want 1 inch at the top. But I did score it on my paper trimmer. So I'm going to reinforce that fold a little bit. And then I have that designer paper. Then I have a piece, oh, put the card up there. I have a piece of a window sheet that is I'm sorry, I might have said this wrong. It's 4 1/4 by 5.5, the designer paper. Then the window sheet is 4 1/4 by 5.5. Okay. Then I have a scrap of basic white for my greeting. This is going to go on the inside. It's basic white, and it is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I pre-stamped it. You already saw me stamp the wave image. So I stamped the wave image in mint macaron. I forgot to say the card base is mint macaron. In the bottom left corner, that's just going to go on the inside of the card. And to me, you can write on top of that in black ink. So that'll be an awesome inside of the card. And then I pre-die cut the same fish image I just used on the other card, but in the dark navy foil. Look at that. How do I miss these pieces? You think you'd pull everything out, and there's always one still stuck in there. Okay, so for this card, I have little sticky notes for myself because I'm afraid I'm going to forget stuff. This card is fancy. Again, I got the idea from a swap from a team meeting from Robin. So again, I don't know if you're here today, Robin. I like how Pauline said green coral is throwing me off a little bit, but love how it turned out. Yeah, I just went with colors that matched. I guess I could have done coral, what is it called? Calypso coral. Okay, I'm looking for my dryer sheet, which is here somewhere. I'm going to heat emboss on this window sheet. Here we go. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to heat emboss the wave on this window sheet, completely copying Robin's card on this portion. So I don't know if it helps because window sheets are a totally different material, but I'm going to do what I normally do, which is rub the dryer sheet all over the cardstock, which in this case is a window sheet. That removes the static so that you don't have powder sticking where you don't want it. Then I'm going to stamp in Versamark ink. So I'm going to, this is the large wave image. I'm going to ink it up just like I did before, leave it on the table upside down and tap my Versamark ink pad all over. Versamark is sticky enough to stay wet long enough for heat embossing. And I'm going to lay my image on it. Now this is 4 1/4 by 5.5 window sheet. So you want to just kind of float the wave down here at the bottom in the middle, if that makes sense. And I'm still going to use scratch paper to rub because I don't want to put my fingerprints all over that window sheet, even though I could see what I'm doing and all the ink is covered. So the image is on there. Now I'm going to add the embossing powder, white, which comes in our basics embossing powder package, like it's a set. Oh, and by the way, so here's sort of how the recipe card is going to look if you want to print that out or just view it online. But it's actually also going to have the measurements over here. And the numbers are not the order necessarily that I demoed them today. They're the order on the blog. So card 1, 2, and 3. So there's a picture, there's all the supplies, and there will be measurements. And so you can do that. And if you're a demonstrator and you want to create these on your own, I have a service that makes it. I created these. Each took me 6 minutes or less. So it's on my Stampin' Stuff, but you can ask me if you want to know specifically how to do it with this service that we offer. So anyway, recipe cards will be on the blog today for each card. With dimensions, like I said, because we added that after the fact. Okay, so I'm just going to scoop this powder on top of the stamped image. Then I'm going to turn that upside down and thump. And I'm not really going to stress about these. I don't know if you can see them there, but there's little dots of white a little bit that are, again, with the static, they're sticking where we didn't stamp. But because it's like spraying water, splashing, I think that'll be fine. And then we're going to heat that. And I was concerned that it would melt my window sheet, which these are the Stampin' Up! Window sheets. They're very thick, high quality window sheets. So I think that's part of it, that the quality is there. So they're thicker. Now I'm sure I could melt it though if I tried. And then the other thing I did was go ahead and let my heat tool heat up. Usually I just start putting it on the paper and wait till it heats up. So I want it to be hot before I actually start trying to emboss. You do need the heat tool to emboss. A blow dryer is not hot enough. This can burn you. It's dangerous. And then of course, once you see it turn white, super white and shiny like that, you see that? Kind of hard to see on the video. You move on to the next section. Don't keep heating it. Especially since it's a window sheet and we might melt it. But you don't want to do that on regular paper either, because you could, or you will melt the powder too much and it will just look ugly. I saw a section I had missed right there, so I always reflect it in the light when I'm finished embossing to make sure there's not a dull or grainy looking section. That means you didn't heat it enough, so you'll need to touch that area again. But look how gorgeous this looks on a window sheet. Like, I need to heat emboss on window sheets more, which is funny because when I was talking about Chris's card that she gave me, I hadn't put 2 and 2 together, and I was thinking, ooh, and I'm going to do that later today. I don't know if you can see it well, but it looks really awesome in person. It's like clear embossing on a window sheet. You see it? Anyway. Okay. So pretty easy. And then let me get the greeting, and then we'll pretty much be ready to put this card together. Sort of, yes. I'm looking for stuff here in front of me. Okay, so I mentioned already that I would be using this greeting on the last card. It says, just thought you should know how wonderful you are. It's cursive, by the way, they all are. I'm just going to stamp this on a scrap. It can be crooked because I'm going to cut it out. And I will be cutting it out line by line. Again, this is different than Robin's card as far as the greeting, but it's taken from the same concept. This will not be perfect. So you might be able to make it perfect, but I can't, and that is perfectly fine. And if anybody judges you, send them my way. So I'm cutting as straight as I can out each word. I mean, each line. So like the first line says, just thought. And then cutting off the ends around it, of course, so it's just that size. And then the next line says, you should know. And then we have how wonderful. And then you are. And this is from Seascape. Don't let me forget to show the extra samples I have at the end. Okay, so for this greeting, I believe, again, I took this from Robin's card. We're going to add splatter to this greeting, which I could have done before I cut it out, but either it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to spread these words out on a scrap paper here, but I'm using a very large one to protect everything else on the table. You can see some of the splatter from before. And I'm using my Night of Navy Dark Stampin' Blend. And I'm going to do this thing that always freaks me out when I do it, but you can see, and I don't know if you can see it because of the lights, but there's a bunch of ink inside the lid of this. I've done it many times with this blend, and it's not really messed up. My blends get more messed up when people color hard with them. Like, this is not messed up. When people color hard with them, ruins. But anyway, these are only $4.50 each. You can get more. Okay, so I'm going to put the tip of the brush, the Stampin' Blend, in the lid on the edge here and flick it. And it makes that ink come off. I maybe shouldn't have done this on a paper, oops, where I've already got splatters because I can't see if I'm getting splatters on this piece. But I did. So that's how you do it. It comes out pretty quick and pretty juicy, so it doesn't take much flicking. And that's that same blend I colored my marker with, my ribbon with earlier. Okay. I'm looking at all of the sticky notes that are over here. Okay, so for this card, let's put it together. Let's see y'all's comments here. Yay. What container? Okay, Lorraine. These containers are not available anymore. Where did I put it? Over here. We don't sell these anymore. They're not available anywhere. But this is super old Stampin' Up. We did sell them. But anyway, our stamps used to come in these. And we cut the lids off. Like mine's all jagged, cut off. So I would recommend like a Tupperware, like a dollar store type kind of Tupperware type container. And you just go and look and see one at least probably card front size, where you could scoop a card front size piece into it. But any kind of container that has a nice flat bottom that's inexpensive, in my opinion, could work for your powder. Some people use a smaller one, like it's still large, but it's smaller, and they take a spoon and they hold their paper over it and they drip it with the spoon. That's a good one as well. So it might be like a true, like Tupperware type. I'm just saying that brand, but y'all know what I mean. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. But with a spoon, and they just scoop it and let it fall back into the container. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here, the first thing I'm going to do here is attach my window sheet to my designer paper. And I think I'll put the adhesive on the designer paper. And for me, my Stampin' Seal worked. So I just put a couple of rows there at the top. And I'm going to align this as best I can and stick the window sheet to the designer paper. What I loved about Robin's card the most was how just that window sheet looking like, well, acetate, it made the paper underneath look even more like alcohol ink. So cool. So that was just like done. That's amazing. Then, actually, I think I'm going to do this one different than I did my other one, because I wrapped this ribbon, the white glittered organdy ribbon, around this top flap. Which I just remembered a step I forgot. It's not too late. And then I attached this piece, but it's not sticking super well, so I think I'll wrap that around last. Anyway, but so the top 1-inch flap is going to get attached to the acetate sheet, the window sheet, and then the card will open like this. So I'm going to use tear and tape, is what I was trying to get at. But I forgot, I did not like how plain this flap was of the mint macaron cardstock. So I'm going to stamp that with that same splatter image from the first, I believe the first card. Let me grab the scratch paper. Actually, I need 2 pieces of scratch paper. One underneath my cardstock. The second one is to block off the back of my card base. I don't want to stamp on the back portion. You could, but I don't want to. I'm going to stamp off and then just splatter and repeat. Stamp off, splatter. Just this top 1-inch flap. So, very useful stamp here in Seascape. Glad I remembered that step. Okay, so now I will use tear and tape on the inside of the 1-inch flap, which is just a stronger adhesive. It's stronger pretty much than any adhesive we sell. So if you need something stronger for something, tear and tape is a good option. It has the name tear in it because you literally just tear it off. You don't have to get your scissors out, which is my favorite part. And I'm putting 2 rows of it here. So basically one at the bottom edge, one at the top edge. And then just press and get your fingernail up under it, but not right at the end, or your tool if you don't have no fingernails, but more at these big, wide, long edges to peel off that protective coating. And then this goes, of course, on the inside of it. Well, it's whatever. It becomes the front of the card. We're attaching it to this 1-inch piece. So I'm just going to kind of align it with the fold and then pull the 1-inch piece down and press. Isn't this gorgeous? Then I will go ahead and add this ribbon. So I'm going to tie the ribbon from the, put it on the inside of the card and wrap it all the way around. I pre-cut this white glittered organdy ribbon because I sent the rest with Landa for cutting something, a class. I think card, I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Or it might be with Karen. I don't know. One of them has it. Anyway, because y'all know I like to cut from the roll when I can. So where are my tweezers? They are right in front of my face. I'm going to tie a bow on the left side. This ribbon is going across the mint flap at the top. Flip the card upside down to tie that bow. Fix the bow, of course. I hope this ribbon never retires, and I hope I'm not jinxing anything by saying that, but it goes with so many things, and the black one as well. They both are just awesome. Love it. Okay, so there's that. And then we have our fish. So simple, same as before. We'll add some adhesive to the solid parts of the fish. I still missed a little piece that I was poking out every time. I'm going to curl these tails and fins a little bit again with my hand. So the fish is going to go over here kind of to the right. The tail kind of is pretty close to the right edge, and it's sort of going up. I don't know if it's with the wave or what, but that's where the fish is. I don't know if she's or he is jumping over the wave, but that's the deal. And then my greeting will go to the left of that with dimensionals. So I'll just turn all these little pieces over. Let's see how y'all are doing. Jean, I didn't really know you could emboss on window sheets either. Like, if someone asked me, I would have said, I don't know, you should test that. But because I saw her sample, of course, I was like, well, I guess you can do this. You know how that is. But I agree, it's such a wow factor. So, like, we should just start doing it on all of our stuff, right? Now, I do think the fact that this image doesn't have to be perfect helps, if that makes sense, because you might, it might smear a little because it's slick when you stamp, like you might slide a little bit. And what's the other word I'm looking for? Or statement I'm looking for? Oh, and then the powder sticking where you didn't want it. It works for this card. I don't even know if y'all can see it on the video. There's just a little white up here. So that's a factor, but like more backgroundy kind of images would probably be perfect, or basically anything that doesn't have to be perfect. I missed a spot with the dimensional. Right there. And then, but I thought just combined with this paper on top, like everything just was gorgeous. Okay, so what does it say? Just thought. So I'm putting just thought over here to the left at an angle. You should know below that at the opposite angle. How wonderful you are. So there's that portion. I already mentioned at the beginning of this card that I stamped a piece to go on the inside. Mint macaron is not super dark. Like you could totally leave it that color. But I just thought, I don't know why, but with this card, I thought that would be good to put a piece on the inside. And of course, you can write on top of that. And then last is the rhinestones. Rhinestone waves. Available while supplies last. I'm losing my voice here. So I'm trying to see what color I used. It looks like this very light blue. And I put a couple on the top right on the acetate, and then I actually put 3 on the left side. So 1 below the first greeting, 1 down here above the last greeting, and then 1 over here to the left bottom corner. So 5. I usually do 3. So there it is. Show all of its awesomeness. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Don't forget you can check out that recipe card on the blog later today. I think I can post it very quickly, but I just have to check some settings on like my video and stuff when I'm finished with this video. I do have a couple of additional samples to show. I hope you guys have liked these today. Let me make sure I'm looking halfway decent and I can come back on the screen a little bit, I think. If I click the right buttons. Okay, I'll do it that way. So hopefully you'll still be able to see these cards good. Oh, thank you for the hearts and stuff. Okay, so let me see. Lunch meat container. Yes, Cindy. That's what I was thinking of. I forgot the word lunch meat, literally. But yes, lunch meat containers because they're free, right? Basically, you're buying the lunch meat. Anyway, thank you, Pat. And Janet says she uses the little ice cream tasting spoons with her embossing powder. So perfect. You can scoop it with that. Thank you, Pat. Judy, thank you very much. Jean, I'm glad you're rethinking it. Thanks, Cindy. Thanks, Jennifer. Cindy's watching on YouTube, by the way. Just trying to point that out that some people are on YouTube. Yay, yay. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Stella and Brenda. It's funny. I don't know why, but it's probably because it's StreamYard. Let me see. Hello from Idaho. I'm going to see if I can see you on my... Oh, I can't. That's so weird. So whoever said hello from Idaho, it just says Facebook user on my computer, and on my iPad, you don't even show up. But thank you. So I don't know who it is, just because it's not showing your name. Awesome. Okay, so Jean, I don't associate waves with North Dakota. Well, I live in Texas where we do have, um, what am I trying to say? We do have ocean, but I don't live near it, and it's where we can go. It's not like the most gorgeous ocean. Um, but I still love me some waves. Okay, so here's some other samples using these products. So this is the rejected sample from this Facebook Live. And I don't think it's the worst card ever, but I didn't like how it turned out. And I tried so many different ways of using these awesome diorama dies, but I didn't like the result. So, but I thought, I mean, it's not horrible enough to not show you. It's on Night of Navy. There is blue, the navy foil, and then a piece of the designer paper. And I did use the pelican image on it, and I'm here for you always, and the cloud dies. And then the front is designer paper, a piece, I should say, of the designer paper, which I die cut the diorama from. But didn't like how it turned out, so I didn't demonstrate it on the video today. And then just these other 4 are from my team meeting. I believe I showed them on the video before, but just to, give you guys more ideas, basically, is the point. Oh, Carol said this will be a good shaker card. That is very true. Yes. In fact, a shaker card with this nautical type stuff, that could be really cool. Here's another one from the team meeting. You can kind of see where I got a little inspiration for my birds, at least. Right? I love this one. Just pretty simple. Cut a 3x3 piece of designer paper into 4 1.5-inch squares and put a white wave in front of it, but gorgeous. And then last but not least, more feminine colors. Not that these aren't, but more feminine colors for the whatever. It's just more feminine colors. I don't know what I'm trying to say. All right, let me double check here on comments. Maybe the pelican shouldn't be tucked in, maybe just on top. That could be the problem. Like, exactly. You know how you have a card and you can't figure out exactly what's wrong and you need someone else to look at it and tell you. So maybe it should have been popped up on dimensionals, which I still could pull that apart and do it and try it. Who said that? This thing is hard to, it's not hard to navigate. Dawn, thank you for that tip, Dawn. I'm just not used to navigating it. All right, well, thank you guys very much. Everyone have a great day. As you can see, scrolling across the screen, you can email me with any questions you have. And if you want to sign up for any of the classes, let me know. Sign up for my email newsletter. It will be available. It will be available. It will give you links, is what I meant to say, for all of my events. Pat says, love the new software. I do want to advertise what it is. If you're a demonstrator, it's StreamYard. It's extremely easy to use. Knock on wood, so far I haven't had the like buffering issues and stuff, whatever those are called. Now that could change day to day based on my internet service, but knock on wood, and it's very easy to use. So shout out to StreamYard. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys being here and spending time with me today. I will see you next Tuesday. Don't forget, it'll be Tuesday next week. And I guess that's it. Everybody have a great day. Thank you. Bye.